My name's Clay Hicks. I'm the CEO and founder of H7 Network, and I'm here with Kevin Suboski in the fastest route. And we're going to learn a little bit more about Kevin. He is also an alpha team leader, creating a leadership mastermind for the community of H7 to participate in. So, as you're listening to what Kevin has to say, he's also going to be sharing a little bit about maybe how you can help him as a member listening to the interview. Also, I would highly recommend you connect with Kevin. And so, Kevin, thank you so much for starting up a group, and thank you for our relationship. I deeply appreciate our friendship. And so, Kevin, won't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself first, please?
Yeah, sure. So Kevin Suboski, I was born and raised in Michigan. Had a great childhood. The best thing about my childhood is my parents weren't too involved, so I was like always gone doing. I was pretty precocious doing all sorts of things. And one of the things I did as a kid is candy store in front of my house. Most kids did lemonade stands, but the turnover wasn't good enough for me. I was just parents a pity buy, and so sell candy bars, and so all the kids in the neighborhood. So I've been a lifelong entrepreneur. Um, I started my first IT business in 1994, so that I grew that to about 30 people. Always been passionate and excited about entrepreneurship and innovation and leadership, and so I've studied that, had coaches. I've got three kids, and I live in my motorhome right now. I have for 4 years since the pandemic. I go south in the winter, and come back to Michigan in the summer.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. That's I love telling people about when the time is right that you travel the way you travel.
Yeah,
And
it's
so it's
bizarre.
yeah, it's awesome. It really is.
Yeah.
Kevin, won't you tell the audience a little bit about your business, what it is that you're actually doing, and thank you.
Yeah, so I mentioned that I had an IT business, and my thing about the IT business, what I was doing is like learning how to be a great CEO. And so I studied for 5 years with an organization in California that taught entrepreneurship, innovation, and leadership from the perspective that business is a network of commitments among human beings. And so if you want to be a professional, you need to study the foundation, the fundamentals of the material you're working with. And so human beings, I studied biology, neurology, philosophy, linguistics, and I applied it to my business and I crushed it. I just really did a great job. It turned out well. I screwed up a lot, but overall, our customers loved us. Employees felt like it was family, and I made industry leading profit margins. And so that was all good. The challenge was what I was learning about how to lead was to treat people like human beings. Most people manage like people like how they wish they were rather than how we really are. We're animals, we're biological, we language. And so I was doing that, and my clients who were big companies are notorious for not doing that. They're led by a thing I call the zombie operating system, which is eating human beings for the sake of profit production without regard for what it does for human beings. And so I got to the point where I couldn't do that anymore. And I didn't love IT. There's no people in IT. Big businesses that just don't believe in people. And so I just had to get out. And so decided I was going to take that to other entrepreneurs. And so 20 years ago, I began the journey to supporting entrepreneurs. And I've tried a few things. 13 years ago, I started becoming an EOS implementer, so entrepreneurial operating system. But what I found is a lot of solopreneurs struggle as well. And so I created a program to help those solopreneurs, those people that are ambitious solopreneurs that are working to grow their business. They have something that's saleable, but they're really good with their customers, but they really haven't figured business out yet. And so I came up with a program called Growing a Brilliant Business, um, that creates a peer group to help them fully specify and define their business in a way that's coherent with their heart and soul and that will work in the marketplace.
Yeah,
Along with that, I have online courses, companion courses to help them go through with that. But that's the kind of thing that I've been up to, Clay.
appreciate sharing that. So it sounds like you work with solopreneurs looking to really bust out and grow and
Yeah.
scale, right?
Yeah.
And really start to hire people and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sharing this. So you're going to start this leadership mastermind, okay, inside of the community. And you came to me and we've been talking about it for months now, right? On and off, like with ideas, and you've really taken the time to do the research and truly understand what the community could leverage for more for themselves. So, why is it, in your own words, you decided to do this?
So I've been living in this human-centered space for a long time,
Yeah.
and it has been profound. It is the lenses through which I see business, and it gives me a competitive advantage. I see things and I can design action. And I think you've seen that in our conversations where, I'll say, well, look at it this way. And it's like, oh, wow, I get it. And so, but what I've come to find is sort of a different frame for the things that I'm working at, because what I'm finding is most people now are getting to the point where we're really dissatisfied with what's going on in the world of leadership and business. I think most people are a little pissed off about how things are led and how we're treated. And at the heart of it, what I've come to see is that the zombie operating system, those people that are running, just going from the background of obviousness of how to be a leader, when anybody tells you how to be a leader, they're informed by the zombie operating system because that's how our culture is. It's all based upon that. Um, and and at the heart of it, what I've come to find is that it's a different distinction of leadership than I hold. It's the distinction is ethical leadership compared to unethical leadership. And so the zombie operating system business, what they're doing is they're leading people. What they're doing, and when people talk about leadership, what they mean is trying to get people to do something for your sake. That's at the heart of what's wrong with the zombie operating system. It's we're consuming people. We're harvesting things from them without regard for the impact on them. And I compare that to what I've really, what I learned is the way to succeed in business is to take great care of people. And so ethical leadership, and you and I connected on this, Clay, because I think you're an ethical leader, which is like getting people to do things for their benefit and to be able to articulate that and to be of service to them. And so I'm just, I've gotten to the point where I was using this stuff for my own purposes, but it's just become more and more important that I've got to share this stuff with people. When I started business, I knew what I was doing with my clients, but I didn't know business. And when you go out and you get help with that, and generally what people say is first you got to do marketing better. So you got to lie. You got to lie to win, right? I've studied so many marketing things, and I can't tell you how many times marketing people try to get me to hire them by lying to me. It's just shocking to me. And my thing was like, if I have to be unethical to win in business, then I'm going to fail. I don't care. I'm not going to do that. But I'm pretty clever and persistent. And so I've accumulated, as you heard me talk, I've accumulated a pretty big discourse of distinctions and ways of looking at business differently to enable you to not only be ethical in business and protect your soul, because most people like they struggle. They feel like they have to sell their soul to succeed in business, and that's not true. So you can like not sell your soul and crush it because that's the path. Really, that's the best path to
Yeah.
wild success. Is take great care of people. And so I just feeling more and more like I've got to bring this out to more people, the stuff that I've accumulated.
Thank you. Thank you. So it sounds to me like it's time for it to come out.
Yeah.
And it sounds to me like the H7 community gets the benefit from that, right? The whole like end visitors and people that come. I mean, imagine the impact you're going to make with just that kind of ethical leadership around uh, the service to others, to lift them up, to do what's best for them, to think about that. And in the leadership mastermind, if they come in with that mindset that they don't have that mindset, they're going to walk out with that mindset. That transformation has got to happen in order for us to scale, and in order for us to make an impact, in order for us to live the life that we're
And take
trying
the
to.
world and take the world in a direction that it needs to go. I mean, I'm dissatisfied with where things are going, and the whole like, be the difference you want to see in the world. And so we've all got to do that. If we want people to be more ethical and to lead better, then we've got to learn to do that. And how to do that, it's just the tradition that we're in doesn't teach that.
No, no. So everybody who's watching this video, listen to this interview, reading the blog, whatever it is, you want to make sure you connect with Kevin. Kevin's bringing this leadership mastermind very soon. We'll be launching very soon. He'll coordinate that and get all that done. But in the meantime, make sure that you connect with Kevin on LinkedIn. Send him a message. Whatever you're in, you want to participate. You want to be the change you want to see right in the world. So. Kevin, any last words before we finish?
Um, no, I think we covered, I mean, I'm pretty passionate about this. You know, a lot of people think that I got here on some sort of ethical or theological approach, right? But this was lifelong inquiry in how to do this, how to make money in business. And so I've come to this place where how to succeed the most in the small business is to take great care of people as human beings. And so it's at the heart of it, it's about crushing it in business. And gratefully, thankfully, the path to do that is to be decent and honorable to one another.
100%. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you
Yeah.
for doing this for the community and the impact that you'll make.